My Impact, Influence and Confidence programme is designed with talented women in mind to engage, inspire and build self-belief at work. For more information, go to bitfamous.co.uk. Hello, Penny here. This time on the podcast, my full confidence keynote. Ideal for you, individuals, teams, and their organisations. Enjoy. So I'm Penny Haslam, and I have been fascinated with confidence for the last 20 years. Why? Well, partly it's been a main bit of my job. I used to be a Radio 4 producer, with a lot of stresses there, working in a personal finance programme. And then I was on television as a live television presenter on BBC Breakfast and the News Channel. And now, as a professional speaker, I need confidence, don't I, to get up on stage. Strut. Yeah? But it annoys me. Confidence really annoys me. Because one day I'll have it, and the next day it'll have gone. It really annoys me, that. I kind of grapple with it. And now I also work with people, coaching them and training them to help them raise their profile, to help them go on television and radio, or speak on stages, or be a really good participant in a panel discussion. And so the issue of confidence comes up in those sessions. People always say to me, where'd you get the confidence to do this in the first place? And it's not just people at a junior level either. I was working with a chief executive of a national recruitment firm the other day, and I was helping him think about going on a panel, taking part in a panel discussion in London. And so we're going through the processes of how he could communicate what he's got to communicate so the audience is interested in what he's saying and how to make him compelling and that sort of stuff. And he put his pen down. He said to me, do you know what? Who am I? Who am I to be on that panel, talking like an expert, when the other people on the panel are so much more expert than me? I said, well, who are you not to be? You're going to have to get on with it. And he did, and it was fine. But for someone at that level to be saying, confidence is eluding me, is fascinating. And I think it's a real show of our appetite to learn more about this topic that you've all turned up today. It's been record number booking. I don't think it's the speaker. I think it's the topic. We could all do with a boost, yeah? So you might be one of those people who says, oh, I lack confidence. I was never a very confident person. I'm lacking confidence. And that's fine. You're going to get lots out of today. Or it might be that you're like me. Confident one day, yeah, I'm going to change the world, and look at me. Yeah, world, come on. And then the next day I'm like, oh, I didn't mean that. I'm not really sure. Sort of looking at my shoes a bit. I'll just do that another day. Or it might be that you're full of self-confidence most of the time, but there are certain settings that kind of undermine you. You might be dodging a difficult conversation. You might find yourself in a new environment where you're not sure of yourself, and that annoys you. Or it might just be that you know people on your team or in your business who need a boost. So anything that I say today, you can take to them and share with them, or you can use. You can use all 5 steps that I'm about to show you, or you can just use 1 or 2 or none. Hands up, who doesn't need any 5 steps to confidence? Who is 100% all of the time? No. Okay, well, you're in good company then. You're in very good company. So let's get started. I'm going to show you my 5 steps to confidence. And I say steps, they sound logical and like I planned them. No. This is drawing on years of experience of being in a position where I had to find confidence. And often it would elude me. And often it would bring me down. It would undermine me, this lack of confidence. And I really hungered for it. So really, this is a distillation of that experience on my crazy paving path to confidence. So first of all, step 1, ice negative self-talk. Who here has heard of self-talk? Put your hand up. Okay, and for the rest of you sitting there saying to yourself, I don't know what she's going on about. Well, that's self-talk. Okay? So it's this dialogue we have, this narrative, this voice that is useful. It tells us where we are in the world, who we are, whether it's warm outside, whether we need to put a coat on, without having to verbalise it all the time. So it's actually a thing that we learn at a very young age in language. And negative self-talk is something that is part of that, but is quite nasty, pernicious. Can be quite vile sometimes. Does anyone speak to themselves in a bit of a negative way? Yeah? Oh, God, why did you put those gold trainers on? Stupid woman. Oh, what was I wearing that hat for the other day? I looked like a right idiot. Idiot. Did you say that last night, did you? Oh, God, I can't believe you said that. Oh, so we sort of fill our brains with this kind of, chipping away sometimes. And there's a reason for it. Before I tell you about icing negative self-talk, let me tell you about why we have negative self-talk in the first place. It goes back to that really old school, old thinking, human instinct of fight or flight. Fight or flight. We can't shake it off, can we? It's this thing. And that's why we remember the one comment out of the other millions of comments that were fabulous. We remember the one comment where it wasn't quite nice, it wasn't particularly supportive, and we remember it. And we'll remember it 5 years later, that time that person said, oh, God. We forget the good stuff quite often. We hang on to the bad stuff. That's why we like the news, so we know what to do. Negativity tells us what to do. We know how to act, we know how to fight, or we know how to fly away from it. So if you think about a time when, we all lived in caves, right? We all lived in caveman, cavewoman. They had that fight or flight instinct. And they needed it, didn't they? Because you know what? Caveman, cavewoman, say they're in the cave, right? And they're going to bed at night, or on the floor, wherever they sleep. And they're getting ready to go to bed. They're cleaning their teeth, the twig. Don't know. And they're getting under the covers. It's been a shocker of a day. It has. The kids have been really naughty, been drawing on the walls. But everyone's been drawing on the walls. Getting under the woolly mammoth duvet cover. He's got his dinosaur pyjamas on. And they're there and they're about to go to sleep. They're just snoozing off. And they hear a rustle. A rustle at the cave door opening. In fact, while I'm on cave people, I had a dream once, right? I'll just tell you this. I had a dream, real truth, honest to God truth, that I was a cave woman. I dreamt I was on a beach and I dreamt I was smashing rocks up. Because that's what cave people do, isn't it? So I was down here, it's like getting these big boulders. And so on. Right, and there was no other noise than the grunt of labour happening, this hard labour on the beach. And I thought to myself, oh, God, we've got to get language soon. That was my dream. How bizarre is that? Anyway, back to the caveman, cavewoman, right? So they're about to go to bed and they hear a rustle at the cave opening. They jump up. They say, quick, grab the rocks, protect the kids. It's bound to be a saber-toothed tiger, right? They don't lie there. Oh, so glad we live in the countryside. You can hear the rustle of the leaves in the trees at night. Isn't it lovely, darling? Yes, it's lovely. Good night, dear. No, they don't. They're up and they're at 'em. And it happens today. An email arrives. It's from a client or your boss. Oh, what do they want now? What have I done wrong? Negative. Instantaneous negative. And our brains are hardwired to go to the negative. It's an old operating system. It's out of date. It's not useful or supportive. So icing negative self-talk. I had to ice negative self-talk because I had a really damaging case of it. When I first started at the BBC, I was a secretary and I worked my way up. I typed my way up. Some people say I slept my way up. 8 hours a night, nice pyjamas, thank you very much. So I worked my way up. I was ambitious and I wanted to do more. And I found myself finally in broadcasting at Broadcasting House, producing a Radio 4 programme called Moneybox. Has anyone heard of Moneybox? Great, you listen to it, yeah? Radio 4, Saturday lunchtimes. you understand it? I didn't. So I arrived there and everyone knew about personal finance news. And the personal finance news is pretty tough, actually. You have to be really alive to the story, the twists and the turns. It's exciting for some people, but quite boring for most of us, okay? And I arrived knowing about student loans, overdrafts, rents, unauthorised overdrafts, credit card debt, that sort of thing. So I was bringing a kind of other angle to the investments and stocks and shares and laying down of wine as an investment, which the rest of the team knew about. It's like, right, okay, I've got this top job. It's going to be brilliant. Oh. And that's when my self-talk went out of control negative. And honestly, I'd be just going to the bus to work in the morning. I'd be sitting there, minding my own. And all of a sudden, oh, off to Broadcasting House, are you? What you going there for? You don't belong there. And then I'd be at my desk making a phone call, say to a press office of a big company or a department of government. Self-talk. Oh, yeah. Oh, you think you know what you're doing? You look like you know what you're doing, but you don't. Or in the studio, I'd have faders and microphones up and, I'd be interviewing somebody and I'd be asking them questions. And seriously, negative self-talk, be like, oh, your questions aren't very good. Do you know that? Everyone else's are really good. You might like... Honestly, it was on all the time. Negative, doing me down. It annoyed me. It really, really annoyed me. And it meant that I couldn't enjoy my success, actually, because it was taking away from that. And I couldn't think about my future because I had my head full of this negativity. And so it was cluttering up my headspace. So I couldn't enjoy my present and I couldn't look to the future and think about being ambitious. It was a drag. It really was. So I kind of got the idea that this wasn't me. I got so annoyed with it. I thought, this isn't me. Who's this? This is dragging me down. It's not healthy and it's not useful. What am I going to do about it? So I had a bit of a think and I thought back to a time when I was actually really confident. I thought, if I can think about that time and think about what that was for me. And it was actually when I used to work as a nurse. So I worked as a nurse before all of this, and I had quite a senior role in a small cottage hospital. And I loved my job. I was in flow. I knew what I was doing. I had great, colleagues and people around me. And in fact, I've got a picture from that time. So that's when I worked as a nurse. And I had supreme confidence. And it's not surprising I was well supported. I had great training and resources. I had this industry magazine that came through the post once a week, 16 pence it cost. And I read it, and inside were the helpful Nurse Susan and Dr. David, experts who could share their knowledge with me. And I had all my teddies lined up against the skirting board in shoe boxes with my dad's hankies over them. We did what we could with what we had. And I loved it. I loved being a nurse. By the way, just looking back at that front cover, though, just as an aside, the Wombles, right? Yeah? They're known for repurposing, recycling, reusing. You look closely at that. They're actually stealing that bathtub from the new housing estate being built at the back. And I think you've got to be aware of this stuff. So that was my time when I was confident. I didn't have self-talk, negative self-talk, and it really, really annoyed me. So in the process of identifying this self-talk, I thought I'll give it a name because it's not me. I will call this voice Self-Talk Sybil. Oh, hi, Sybil, you're back. Yeah, I'm going to follow you around. No, you're not. Go away, Sybil. Get off the bus. What are you doing on the bus? Get out of the studio. And I actually confronted it. So I identified Self-Talk Sybil, or Bring Me Down Brian. Yeah? Run Me Round Rita. You name your self-talk in any way you like, your negative self-talk. But if you identify it, you can begin to talk back to it. You're out of date, Sybil. Yeah, confronting Sybil. You're out of date, Sybil. You're useless. Your old operating system. And finally, over time, I was able to extinguish Sybil. She pops up every now and again. Constant vigilance on your negative self-talk is needed. And she pops up sometimes when I'm playing Candy Crush. Late at night. I'm moving coloured candies around a screen. And Sybil says, oh, you're not very strategic, are you? It's Candy Crush, Sybil. So ICE, identify, confront, extinguish negative self-talk. It's really, really useful. And ICE is powerful, isn't it? Imagine a gin and tonic without it. Wrong. So powerful. The captain of the Titanic knew how powerful it was as well, because that ice was very damaging. So ICE is powerful. ICE, identify, confront, and extinguish. And of course, it helps reduce pain and inflammation. So ICE your negative self-talk. Love that. So that's step one. More of a mindset, isn't it? Getting into your mind and taking something out of it that's no longer working for you is about getting rid of your self-talk. But what about your skill set? What about your skill set? Well, this is something I hadn't learned in my crazy paving path to confidence, full confidence, was how to be a Yeti. I'm not talking about the mythical creature from Scooby-Doo, not that. And it's more like a yogi, so daily practice is required to be really good at this. But this is skill set stuff. And really, I came across a block in my career. Having dealt with self-talk, I was able to free up my brain to be more ambitious and more future-thinking and planning on my career. And it so happened that I got a call from the television people. I was in radio, and I got a call one day at my desk when I was on Moneybox. Hello, yeah, hi. We'd like you to present a programme. It's a flagship, BBC One, investigative, prime time, Panorama. Panorama, they asked me to present Panorama on pensions. Ooh, yeah. So I checked my diary. Yes, I'm free. And I decided that, be a Yeti, decided that I would do this. Yes, I could do this. So I did a Panorama. I was absolutely stressed and didn't know what to wear and stuff like that. But did it. It went okay. And as a result, I got asked to do the news channel, be the business presenter on the news channel. You know, the person who comes on every hour and they stand in front of a board and the footsie's up, the footsie's down. What's the footsie and who cares? So there's a bit of that. And then BBC Breakfast asked me if I would step in and be the business slot presenter there. You know, around the high coffee table, you know, sort of slightly awkward stools. Good morning. Yeah, that one. So I did that. Brilliant. But I didn't know how to. No one taught me. No one reassured me that I was doing a good job. I was out of my depth. I was sitting in a car that I'd never driven before, having had no lessons, on a motorway going 100 miles an hour. Live television in the morning. Very challenging. And there I am, on the red sofa, Louise Minchin and Charlie State. And I'm doing what's called the newspaper review at 6:17 in the morning. I mean, who can even... The Financial Times at 6:17 in the morning is not for me. But anyway, the point was that you have to rattle through 3 headlines and talk about the economic impact of each headline in a minute. And I would say to myself, I can't do that. I can't do it. I can't do it. But somehow I did it. I got through, but I couldn't do it. I can't do that. Walking and talking, doing an outside broadcast. Walking and talking sounds simple, doesn't it? But there's actually a trick to it where you have to start... No, sorry, do that again. You have to start walking before you start talking. Oh, it's these things that you don't know. I can't do outside broadcasts. Can't do them. I can't do them. Oh, and this was really stressful. Really unhelpful as well, as you can imagine. And in my ear up there, a talkback earpiece. So I can hear the full gallery. You know, the gallery you see, all the screens and the sort of dimly lit room and the faders and the dials and busy people and there's the producer in there and the director. There's some researchers, there's a sound person, there's lots of people coming in and out all the time. It's busy. And you can hear every word of it. And you can hear your interviewee as well. So say I'm interviewing someone who's not in the studio. Say I'm interviewing Christine Lagarde, who's the MD of the International Monetary Fund. She's in Brussels. I'm asking her questions. She's answering them. I can hear her in my ear. You can see her on the screen. Thanks very much, Christine. Oh, that's interesting. Brexit. The euro. Interesting. Yeah, okay, so chatting. But I can hear the gallery people as well. And they're talking about the next item, what's coming up later. And they're also doing the thing where they go, oh, morning, Jeff. Yeah, do you have a nice half term? Yeah. Kids all right? I'm getting a coffee. Do anyone want a coffee? Like, shut up. I'm trying to listen to Christine. And then they'll tell me something like, and go to camera 3 when you finish with Christine, Penny. I'll be like, oh, yeah. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do live television. I hadn't learned how to be a Yeti. If I'd added yet to the end of my closed, defined statements, it would have just opened a door for me. I can't do walk and talk yet. I can't do live outside broadcasts yet. I can't do newspaper reviews, 3 headlines, and talk about the economic impact in a minute yet. I would have felt lighter and more encouraged, because then I could have gone on to do something about it. So anyone here who can't do anything or tells themselves, I can't do this, that, and the other, you're all brilliant. Well done. Absolutely brilliant. I can't run. Anyone? I can't run. I can't run. Yet. I can't lose weight. Yet. I can't have that conversation with that client just yet. Yet. And so it goes on, but add the word yet, and you can. I can't touch type yet. I'm going to really concentrate next time I'm trying. I can't speak French yet. I'm going to get lessons, and so on. And so it builds, it opens those opportunities to people. So if you've got someone on your team going, I can't do it. In fact, I had someone on my team who would say this a lot. It's the under-13s, Lim Rovers, girls team. Yeah? That's our Monday night training session. It was the one before Christmas. I don't wear that every Monday night. So I had a pillow down there. So I'm stood there and we're about to do our training, right? And I know nothing about football. And I'm not sure if I want to. By the way, you don't have to add yet to everything. I mean, I can't bake. I don't care. So I'm not going to add yet to that. So anyway, we're there and we've got one girl she's a bit of a whiner, to be honest. And she's like, it's cold. It's this. Oh, I don't want to be here. It's like, oh, goodness. And she'd do some dribbling. Is that what it's called? Foot kicking with the ball, right? Okay. And she'd be learning some new skills, techniques to do with footwork. And she'd come over to me. And she'd go, I can't do this. And run off. And next time I got annoyed. It's like, oh, this is toxic. This isn't useful. Next time she came along, she went, I can't do this. And I went, hang on a minute. Every time you say you can't do something, add Y-E-T to what you've just said. It took her a minute because I had to work it out, what it spelled. But she came up, she goes, oh, I can't do this yet. And a little light went off in her eyes, kind of little, and she was annoyed at me. She went, oh, damn you, lady, manager, person. A bit like the Women's Super League just a couple of days ago, sitting around going, we haven't got multi-million-pound corporate sponsorship yet. But they have now because Barclays has signed a deal. Fantastic. Well done. Thanks for arranging that, Steve. So, yeah, yet is a really powerful skill set tool to add to anything that you say you can't do. So mindset, step 1, getting rid of your negative self-talk. Step 2, be a Yeti. Be a Yeti. Step 3, it's more about the deep stuff, more about your values. Now, I've spelt it like that because intentionally, I'm not just crap at spelling, but values. What are your values? So we hear about corporate values a lot, don't we? And we think, well, stick to the company values, or if I'm setting up a business, we've got to have some values, we've got to have a mission statement, we've got to have all that kind of stuff. It's got to be proper, yeah? But do we ever stop to think about our values? So I was challenged by this, and I was asked about my values, but it kind of came around at a time when I was changing job again. So I'd gone from radio to TV. I was on TV, and I wasn't really feeling it. I wasn't feeling what I thought I should be feeling. I mean, the glamour of being on breakfast television, but it wasn't exciting me. The BBC is a large organisation. It's a sink or swim sometimes at a certain level. And I just didn't, I don't know, I wasn't loving it. And in fact, it came home to me one time because I asked an editor of the news channel, can you give me some feedback on how I'm doing? So I want to improve. I want to be really good at this. I want to make sure that I'm doing a good job for you. And I said, so how's it going? All right, give me some feedback. And he said, well, look me up and down. I don't know. I don't know if you're some bimbo who just reads the auto cue or whether you actually know what you're talking about. And with that, he left. And I thought, you know what? This is not for me anymore. This is not what I want. But I hadn't quite found what I did want until, guess what? Phone rang. Oh, hi, national organisation, wanting to ask me if I would think about appearing in a national advertising campaign with the advertisers being Saatchi & Saatchi, advertising a national weight loss company, not just any weight loss company, Weight Watchers. I mean, Oprah Winfrey owns a bit of that. It's all right, isn't it? Oh, right. So who would I be in this advert with? Would I be on my own? Because surely I'm not celebrity brand ambassador enough. I'm just a newsreader. Who else? Patsy Kensit was the other celebrity brand ambassador that year. And that fat bloke off MasterChef, Greg Wallace. So, yeah. I went, yeah, I'll check my diary. Oh, I'm free. And there off I went again, onto a new world, a new horizon. I left the BBC behind and started having fun and started being asked what I wanted, what I would or would not do in this advert, right? Literally asked me, what won't you do? And I said, I won't do that, because I thought it'd be funny meatloaf thing. Anyway. So I said, you know what? I won't walk through a kitchen eating a yoghurt, for example, because that's what weight loss adverts show, isn't it? Oh, so delicious. I've lost so much weight. I won't do that. It's rubbish, okay? And I'd kind of taken inspiration from an internet, popular campaign that had been going on, a kind of funny thread pointing out the damaging stereotypes that stock photography has in it. So I picked up on this internet campaign called Women Laughing Alone into Salads. Don't believe me? Let me show you. We see this all the time. No one laughs into salads on their own, do they? Do they? No. You go around Hardman Square today looking for people eating salads, women, they're not laughing, are they? Laughing alone into salads. I'm not doing that kind of stuff. I'm just not. So my advert was brilliant. It was in the workplace. It was a TV studio setting. It was about losing weight on the Weight Watchers app because I'm busy, blah, blah, blah. And then they went, right, your advert's really played out well. Patsy's is doing okay, but we reckon the two of you should make another advert together. Oh, okay. All right. Yes, please. No problem. And so we went to this meeting. There was the mighty Saatchi & Saatchi in this posh hotel in London, a private room on the sofa. Hello, Saatchi & Saatchi. There was Weight Watchers, the mighty client, okay. And there was Patsy, and there was me. And we get given the script, and we look through it. We look through the script. Oh, right, okay. This is what they're proposing me and Patsy do. And the script was this. Me and Patsy in her kitchen, high gloss kitchen. Patsy's making a cake. I'm sitting at her island, having dropped round. And we're smugly laughing about how thin we are and how fabulous we are and how glossy and slick and all the rest of it. And I looked at this advert and I thought, oh, I won't do that. I don't want to do that, because for me, women are so much more than just cake makers in kitchens laughing about how thin they are. Really, we're strong, we're funny, we're hardworking, we've got busy lives, we've got responsibilities. We are fantastic. Yet don't stuff us into kitchens again. I wanted to break that stereotype. I really did. But obviously, I'm with the mighty Saatchi and the mighty Weight. They've written the script. I can't offend them. Go, really? Really? No. So I have to edge into this and go, I don't really think me and Patsy are that kind of people. We're single parents. We've got busy lives. We wouldn't have time, would we, to go hanging around kitchens with each other. We don't even know each other. And Patsy, bless her, piped up. She went, I'm not having this. This is outrageous. I'm not going back in a kitchen. Plus, the continuity issue is going to be a nightmare. She knew what she was doing. So anyway, we kind of, between the two of us, lifted this script away from the clutches of Saatchi and Weight Watchers and suggested that we sit in a coffee house together because we're busy, hardworking, funny, single parents with responsibilities, just catching a 5 minutes with each other like women do. So glad to connect, so glad to spend time, but actually we're busy. And we managed to persuade them to reset this. And in fact, here's a picture. There's Patsy and me. We're in a cafe, grabbing this coffee, skimmed milk. I don't know what they were thinking, because you can't eat cake when you're on a diet. I mean, it was just all wrong. But anyway, we changed their minds. And there's me. Oh, really, Patsy? Gosh, that's amazing. How are the kids? That sort of thing. And there we are. That was our advert together. Now, a little while after this, I set up in business to help people raise their profile, to get them on TV and radio, all that kind of stuff, and do speaking as a profession. And I was asked by someone at a networking event similar to this what my values were. I went, professionalism, organised stuff. And I couldn't find it because I wasn't a corporation. And she said, what about your values? What are your values? Because I'd been fetching for something like this, thinking that's what she meant. And if we zoom in on the values bit, this was at Wythenshawe Hospital last year. I had an operation on my ankle and I had to go back regularly, and I saw this kind of laminated motivational stuff on the walls. And if we look at the values there, I'm not sure I would feel any of those. They're not my values because I don't know what one team means to me. I love the way they've kind of wedged, like, they couldn't quite think of another one that started with P, open, and kind of shoehorned one word into two letters at the end there for leadership. So yeah, they don't speak to me. So when she asked me this question, I thought, I'll just pop my values down on a post-it note. A post-it note, no lamination required. And it's just things that are relevant to me that help me. And on reflection, I'd been bold and brave in that meeting. I'd found my deep stuff and I had been strong. And I'd said, we need to be seen to be having some fun. You know, so lots of that is important. What about you? Any values that you've got so you think, yeah, that's me? Not your corporate, not your business life, but what do you stand for? What would you stand by? Humility, honesty, community, kindness. There's loads of those things about that you can think about. So stick them on a post-it. What do you stand for? And how can that help you get more confident in settings where you perhaps aren't confident? But if you remember who you are, what your values are, and what you stand up for, then confidence comes anyway. So find your deep down stuff. Find your values. Okay. So those are the first 3 steps. Step 4, stop colouring in. Yeah, this is gently saying, get on with it. Now, this is about taking action. This is about doing stuff you perhaps have got hanging around, projects. Big stuff, small stuff, it doesn't matter. It might be that you need to send your CV somewhere, but you haven't done it yet. Stop colouring in. Get on with it. It might be that you haven't picked up the phone to that contact. Stop colouring in. Get on with it. And this, this is not me just telling you. I had to tell myself this, and I still have to tell myself this all the time. I have to be constantly vigilant because I can quite often just hang around doing not much at all, and it undermines my confidence. By not taking action, I don't feel strong, bold, brave. So last time I spoke, I mentioned this email. It was around the time when I was setting up a business and I had to do some sales and marketing. So I'd got over the hump of, I can't do sales and marketing yet, right? So I'd kind of got onto it. I'm going to do it. And I was mucking about. I was cobbling this thing together. I was fannying around and not taking action when I should have been. And the minute I did take action, I just felt better. I felt stronger. So stop colouring in. Really, really useful phrase. And it might be that you've got stuff that you need to be getting on with. Has anyone got stuff on their to-do list? Well, they should have done like 3 years ago because, it would have made life a bit better, like move to another city. I just want to get on with it. Stop colouring in. Take action. Have that difficult conversation. Take action. Do the stuff that's, just niggling, fannying around with stuff. Stop colouring in. And then finally, oh yeah, the person I said this to about my email, she went, stop colouring in, sketch your future. Sketch your future. It's like, oh, yeah, that's basically it, isn't it? Sketch your future. And okay, so you've got action, you've got mindset, skill set, all that good stuff. What's the final step? Is decision. Choose confidence. So you might think, oh, I was born a bit shy. I lack confidence. No, you don't. You just haven't chosen it yet. You haven't chosen to try yet. Find and choose that confidence. And in fact, it's been summed up beautifully. To make a decision. Now, if you choose not to, if you decide you don't want something, then decide it and stick with it. But make that decision, because sitting with both buttocks clenched firmly either side of the fence is painful. Choose confidence. Now, I chose confidence. So I'd been through this. I'd been through the step 1, step 2, step 3, all my career. I've been building and working on my confidence because it was so important to me. And there was an area of my life, I've talked about business the whole time and work and career, but there was an area of my life which was sorely lacking, shall we say, and I needed to work on that. And so choosing confidence in this circumstance was a beautiful thing. So 20 years ago, when I first started on the radio, I met a man, a colleague, not just any man, a colleague in the newsroom of a radio station. And our eyes met across a fax machine. And I got introduced to him, shook his hand, and when I shook his hand, oh, he was lovely. Do you know what I mean? I felt like I'd come home. I really did. 20 years ago. So did 20 years ago anything come of that moment of electricity that we felt between us in this newsroom? Oh, no. You can't be going along with a nice man like that. He's kind, he's lovely, he's good-looking, handsome. He's never going to like you. Oh. So we remained friends, slightly awkward friends, slightly I fancy my friend, but I can't say anything because he'll never fancy me kind of friend. Oh, he's so lovely. You know, one of those, you just think, oh, you're so me. Anyway, so 15 years ago, did we get together? No, we did not. 12 years ago, did we not 12, later on. I'm trying to do the maths. I've known him a long time. I've known him 12 years, when he suddenly became available. And so I chose confidence. I chose to sit him down and tell him, after a glass of wine in Chiltern, several glasses of wine in Chiltern, I chose confidence, and I chose to tell him that we should be going out with each other. And he said, yes, we should. And then a few years after that, I sat him down and said, we should be getting married. I like to think that he asked me, but I did actually set it up. And then we got married. And I'd chosen to be confident around that. I'd chosen to ice negative self-talk. I'd chosen to be a Yeti in the skills that I needed. I'd chosen the values, the deep stuff about being brave and bold, and that really stood me in good stead. And I told myself to stop colouring in. And I chose the confidence. And I had that awkward conversation because I could. And it was awesome. So if any of this has resonated with you today, in any aspect of your life, just try and remember these steps. Try and apply them. Try and be conscious about what it is. Yesterday was International Happiness Day. Oh, God, it's effort. It's a lot of effort, that, isn't it? You know, what's wrong with good enough? International Good Enough Day. That would be my kind of day, I have to say. And it's wonderful. It really is to be thinking along those lines. But I say confidence trumps happiness. Because when you're confident, you can choose to find happiness. You can seek it in the places that you most know it will work for you. You can't just be happy. You have to have the confidence to find it. And it trumps ambition, because you can't be ambitious and goal hungry unless you've got the confidence to know that you can, or you may be able to soon yet. So it trumps all of those things. I think it's the rock bed of our humanity. Confidence. Confident leaders know when they don't know what's going on. Unlike in Parliament right now. They're useful. Confidence is useful. So please use these steps to make yourself a little more confident. Thank you very much. My third book is coming out in 2024. It's all about confidence at work and in life. And as you'd expect from me, there are lots of stories and ideas to help you build confidence, whether it's for yourself or for others. It might be colleagues, teammates, friends and family. Head to pennyhaslam.co.uk/confidence-book.